Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. Today we're bringing something from Notorious GHP's tier list, which you'll be able to find in the description if that's the sort of thing that you're interested in. But on their list they had number 1 for the tier 1 deck was the TJP Berserker deck, and I can sort of believe it. So this was originally brought to us by Romanova, I believe, although there's been quite a little bit of iterations on this style of deck that is making the most of the Berserker ability Gift of Battle, with a couple of these interesting units that we've got in this deck. So let's give a slight overview of the units, the spells, and then we'll move on to some games. So starting, we've got Alessi Combrei Archmage, which is something I've been playing with recently anyway, especially in the sort of the moment deck that Aetherlam has been playing around with, because you can fetch this up with the Crown Watch Press Gang. And in a deck that has got 28 spells, then it should be fairly easy to get some real good value out of this. Just another unit that you can play early, like the Awakened Student, and it's just going to grow over time to the point where your opponent is just going to have to deal with it, otherwise they're just under the abyss, and that is something that the Awakened Student is very good at giving you access to. As you are playing a small unit beatdown deck, but well, you'd have the ability to just randomly have like a 5/5/6/6 or even bigger in your deck, then it's going to really just apply some pressure to your opponent. Got Rilgon's Disciple, which is a bit of a joke card because now Rilgon isn't even the best card with Rilgon in its name. So Rilgon's Disciple just giving him the business there. But this card is potentially very dangerous for your opponents to be facing down front because one of you plays spell. Rilgon's Disciple will deal double damage that turn, so this is pretty nice with Finest Hour, but also, maybe out of nowhere, you can just like levitate and just get in there, just give them the business. And I think that's what this deck is really all about. We'd have the Gen of Merchant as well, which is the start of the Aegis sub-theme that we've got going on. And it is, aside from being a bit of a nuisance to deal with, because it is an Aegis threat with a reasonably sized body, it gives us access to the market. And though I'm uncertain yet why substitute is in people's markets at the moment, I'm sure playing some games I'll probably figure it out, but I do like having echo cards in the market, especially cards like Accelerated Evolution, just being able to give like 2 of the units flying or endurance, or just like load up on the same one unit, because we do have a bunch of Aegis threats here that we're able to make the most of that with. Gift of Battle as well is just like another cheap spell that we can actually get to either push damage because of all the units that grow from playing spells, or it's also just going to give us like a second combat step with one of our big boys, or even just giving Geomar the Steel Tempest some Berserk, getting in there twice, just gaining a bajillion life then. Yeah, this deck seems exciting. So I've heard people calling this deck Infect, I believe, which is a callback to a deck in Magic the Gathering, which is basically just a bunch of little dudes that basically deal, to all intents and purposes, double damage, and just a bunch of pump spells and cheap interactions to be able to get you in there and get your opponents dead. So this deck does look sweet, but I've not played it before, so you have to bear with me whilst we struggle our way through the first couple of games, but hopefully it'll all make sense, and by the 5th game, then we should be cooking with gas. Okay, so let's get on to them. Okay, and here we are on the play. We don't get to quite live the dream and go Alessi into the Awakened Student on the play. We also haven't got any spells. I do have access to an Echo Spell because of the Gen of Merchant, but this also relies on us drawing a 3rd power, and we are actually quite slow because of the power we've got. So I think this is actually just a redraw here. This is sort of terrible. Our opponent is going ham with Echo cards there. I suppose with this we get to play the Alessi with the Finest Hour up, which isn't the end of the world really. And I would like to play the Seek Power here, but because our opponent is a Recounter deck here, I've got the possibility to have a Torch, and I much prefer just to be insulated from that. Let's grab a Time Sigil, chuck our opponent for 2 here. For now I do just want to hold this back. So my opponent's given up. Not actually sure what Echo cards were in those colour combinations anyway. Okay, and here we are on the draw with hand is a bit of a stinker because it does only have 1 power. So we'll redraw this, see if we can do a little bit better. And this is sort of better. We've got most of our influence sorted really. If we do fetch the Primal, we'll be short for the Kosul Battlemage. But now I'm sort of very much want to get all the influence requirements here. The Diplo Seal here will be getting a time source, just playing out the Awakened Student, or actually maybe even the Rilgon's Disciple, just because 2/3s are potentially going to be quite good against what our opponent's doing here. Okay, so we're playing against Onis, in which case I'm definitely just going to play the Rilgon's Disciple down, just because 2/3 is probably going to be very good against this deck. So we will get the time source there. There's some really good voice lines in this set 4. Being really impressed by whatever it here, like the Rilgon's Disciple or the Alessi Combrei Archmage. I'm not sure if you heard that one yet, but when she gets into combat, it's definitely very enthusiastic. What point does have a couple of 2/2s here? Well, it's not the end of the world. We probably in a good position to race this back once we're able to get back onto the board. Opponent's deciding if they're playing a combat spell here. No. Yeah, so play Awakened Student here. Is there a 3/3 here? I'm sort of tempted about whether we make the Alessi Combrei Archmage or not, or whether we hold up like Sharpened Reflexes or Levitate. Sharpened Reflexes is quite good here because he gets not only 10 Awakened Student into a 4/4, but try and find the extra power, so we're able to go off with the Kosul Battlemage. I think next turn opponent is going to give it endurance or flying, or just something that's going to allow us to pressure our opponent back. And if given the choice here, I will actually just block the 2/1 Warcry. Oh, okay, so that's aggressive. Well, I'll sharpen Reflex first just to see what we see on top. We start with Evo, don't really want millions of them. Would much prefer just to find a power. So we didn't get blown up by a torch, but I'm pretty sure our opponent doesn't have one. Yeah, so just a grinding. Okay, so this is pretty great here. Okay, so play the power, it's the exact kind of power we needed because we did want to get in there with the Kosul Battlemage, but also I think I'm just going to play the Alessi down, as this will also let us gain a little bit of life because the armor is virtually like a little bit of life gain. I'll just give this dude endurance. Fire typically has a hard time to deal with big endurance units. So hopefully we're just able to pressure our opponent back, get to surprise our opponent with a 3/3 over here, as well as having decent blocks set up for this. Our opponent can use some sort of combat trick to get through here, but it's much better to use a combat trick to try and trade in combat rather than actually just leveling us with this, because if they were to give this like +2/+2, then we are dead. So I think our opponent is trying to figure out how they're going to play that turn, because cards like this and so we're going to quite tricky to play with. They do need to consider how I will be blocking, or if I'm even holding up a instant speed spell, which we are. But overall I've been quite impressed with Alessi. The influence requirements are a little bit stricter. Like, has to be like exactly, I was going to remember the order it is, like banners or seats. So, yep, so opponent is, are they going for it? So if you attack, I have to block, because that means you have a trick or you're just able to properly destroy me. Okay, so block here, block here. I just like levitate whatever Granted over here can do. This happened instantly, it was pretty quick, just got to gain a life. So if our opponent can actually give this overwhelm and like a huge buff, then we could have been in trouble. Yeah, looks like our opponent is out of it, unfortunately. So we're going to old GG's, move on to the next game. This tech seems potent, to say the least. Okay, well, one hand power, well, one power hand rather, so I'll just redraw that. We do a little bit better. This isn't much better, and perhaps this could be a problem with a 28 spell deck, where a lot of the spells don't really do anything until you're already on the board. But I'm gonna just play it out, see what we get up to, because we do actually have a threat that's reasonably a bit of a nuisance to deal with, really. Yeah, that's what I was saying last game. We do need exactly C to be able to play Alessi on turn 1, but I think for the most part, rather, you'd probably do want to be able to protect her a little bit as well. Let's play Geomar as well. Not actually heard Geomar's voice line yet, so looking forward to that. Now, opponent here with double Crest of Progress. That could very well be a like old-fashioned style of Combrei deck, or could be the Combrei beatdown deck that I've seen floating around with the Sword of Unity. Okay, well, as soon as you see the Fire Source here, I start to panic because this means this is maybe Divine Rod. Well, my opponent is not really incentivized to block ever, so I'm just going to get in, make our 3-2, and then hopefully just try and do a bunch of damage next turn. Because I get to Levitate this and then Berserk them both and just not counted, but that's probably about 1,000,000 damage. So let's find out. My opponent is making a big boy ahead of curve here, so could well be in a melee. Oh, Sulfur Drake, that's fine. So do we just get to do it here? Yeah, let's Equivocate Sulfur Drake because the Entomb is also a bit of a nuisance. Let's take our opponent's turn off them. Levitate here. Give to battle this. And that looks lethal? Yeah. That's ridiculous. What is this deck? This is sick filth. Someone ban this sick filth. Not sure how I feel about this deck. I think I need to go for a shower. Okay, well, here on the draw, I don't like our influence whatsoever, so I think this will just be a redraw. Also, it's only got one threat, and some spells that do require you to have something in play to get going. This is going to be easy Seat of Progress playing down. Rats this guy. We do miss out on some influence here though because of the Diplo seal, but I think it slows down more to have this. So I'll just have it as a depleted colourless power. That's probably sort of fine. We don't get to block with the Alessi next turn, so this is sort of nicer. We'll get the Primal Source, even though we do have the Kosul Battlemage in our hand. We do also have these Accelerated Evolutions, which I assume are going to be reasonably good against the keep one power only running deck. I respect your choice, but I'm going to try and sharpen reflexes, try and find a power before I do anything. Kosul Battlemage, I can't play it, so let's not keep that. I think we get to punish our opponent's greedy keep there. You can be forgiven for keeping those sorts of hands. What do we have on the board? Do we have any power fix in? No, it's just like... Okay, so there's some good stuff in there. I'm uncertain if it's just like Accelerated Evolution just to give myself endurance, which is probably lights out for our opponent, because whatever this deck is, probably can't deal with this, so it's just getting there for 5. I suppose we may as well sharpen reflexes as well. Like, no reason not to at this point. Just trying to scout. Geomar is probably lights out for this deck because it's got lifesteal, but I don't think we need to do that right now. We do just want to find the 4th power just to be able to start deploying some more threats. Yeah, so a bit of a sketchy keep from the opponent, but on the play, if you've got like double Oni Ronin and Pyronite with 1 power, I can sort of see that being a keepable hand. Especially against like some more controlled decks or decks that are a bit slow to get started, that could have absolutely mismeted us, especially if they just like peeled the 2nd power off the top. But I suppose that's what happens. Okay, well this hand's a little bit too slow because our first unit costs 3 and isn't actually very exciting with like Levitate and Gift of Battle, so let's redraw this, try and do something a little bit more exciting. This is sort of good. We do need more power. Okay, so Seat of Progress is exactly perfect. Because don't get to play our Alessi. We are against playing a Primal deck. This could very well be like Feln and it gets a Virus Favor this, which is something you do need to be mindful of. Okay, well, the old Mono Primal Dustgrader deck. We'll grab a Primal Sorcerer. Unlikely to use Gift of Battle or Equivocate quite yet. Just play the Awakened Student out. Opponent's probably playing like an aggressive Feln deck, so we'll keep the Equivocate just for a Rindra so opponent doesn't get lifesteal. Opponent could actually just be Mono Primal. That faction is deep enough to probably do something mono with now. Also, we can actually attack with the student as a 3/3 because it will just get traded for with this Geneb Merchant. Primal does have a lot of good options. Being surprised by the Polymorph Stick. That's been a pretty spicy meatball. Opponent won't be able to use it until like turn 6 efficiently, but there are a lot of interesting pieces in that faction pairing. Yeah, just have 2 3/3s. I think if we attack here, opponent is more incentivized to sort of attack back. Well, sort of a block, sorry, because they get to deal with one of our little dudes. Okay. Well, opponent's being aggressive back, which is sort of nice, really. Uncertain what spicy meatballs our opponent could have for us here. But as I've only shown us a Mono Primal thus far, I am going to accelerate evolution of these dudes up, give them both endurance. Also gives my Combrei Archmage a little bit more power and toughness. I'm probably going to make the Geomars next turn, maybe. We'll just leave this one back for now. No reason to get in, just get double blocked. We do get to kill one of these, probably the one with Berserk. But for now, against Mono Primal, just having 2 big endurance units is probably really good because it means that. What's this? Oh, well, I suppose it's block here. I'm trying to think what combat tricks are in Primal. I don't know if this at any button, just block everything. This could just be like the Desperation attack that spooks me. But as we do get to reload with a sort of Geomar into Geomar, I'm sort of happy with this. This could be Hailstorm, yeah. But if the opponent, okay, Lightning Storm, like, whatever. But if the opponent, that's weird. Like, I'm sort of fine with that, but it's also very confusing to like see the Lightning Storm in a deck that plays all this stuff. But the attack makes sense now. More excellent voice work. Cities may fall, but the law stands strong. I do sort of wish that Geomar was just like a base bigger body and just didn't have this +2/+2 thing, because I really do like Valkyries and would like to play like a legitimate Valkyrie deck that wasn't just a bit of a meme, or the red-green deck which can basically play anything because it's just a very powerful deck right now. Okay, well, 1 power hand, so just easy redraw there. And this is questionable, but we do get to play the Awakened Student out. It's going to have plenty of food amongst this 6 power as well. I'll just grab a single Primal Source there. Then we'll just play this out for like whatever. Probably going to be getting the Justice Sorcerer. Well, this hand is not developed to be much better, but if you do find a merchant, we're able to swap this Diplo Seal for something a little bit more exciting. Probably is going to be the Accelerated Evo. Okay, so it looks like we're against the sort of mirror here. Yeah, definitely flooding here. I think our point 100% just doesn't block ever. But I'm just going to Equivocate. No. Yeah, there's no reason not to Equivocate here because though we could get some spells out of our opponent, As I've only seen base Combrei so far, I'm not too sure. Maybe we'll just see like a Protect or a Stand Together, just rather that not happen. Okay, so they're playing the moment version of the deck, I guess. Nice. Our Equivocate dealt 2 damage to our opponent. Well, hopefully this Stand Together will go the distance here. But yeah, this looks like it's probably the moment of creation sort of 8th armor version of this deck. Vanquish also. Yeah, so I've managed to give our student +1/+1 again. This seems to be what this game is going to be about here. Well, crunching for 6. Hopefully the Geomar here is able to give our opponent the business as we're able to protect it from a torch with the finest down now. But overall, this card seems quite scary. Although, as I was saying, like the end of the last game actually, I would like to see more actual Valkyries, so you could just play a Valkyrie deck. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so opponent could sense the fast spell, so they pretty much knew that the game was over. But overall, excellent show from this deck. Like, got 5 games in 18 minutes. Wow. Probably got time to do another one then. Okay, we're on the play. Hand is a bit of a stinker, but we do get to play down the Rilgon's Disciple. Give it Gift of Battle, Equivocate, whatever's in the way, but overall, I just like to have a few more threats. This isn't exactly what we're looking for, but I suppose Genid Merchant with Flying Outrageous is good in a bunch of matchups, so it's probably okay. We'll grab a Justice here. Rather than playing out the Seat of Progress, can play this as our 3rd power, actually. And we should be pretty much okay up until that point. Okay, so Meccano, so this could be like the Bloody Shaper deck. We're going ham for accelerated evolutions over here. That might be a bit of a mistake there because now it's going to be difficult to play the Seat of Progress. Don't really actually need double time for anything, do we? Maybe the Couple Bailiff is just one of each. I suppose we'll find out though. Yeah, so this is probably where I might like to have a unit in the board here. But I think I'm just going to get a Backlash, actually. But yeah, we'll get Backlash just because this is probably going to be good later in the game if our opponent is a Harsh Rule deck. And if our opponent gives us something to believe that they're not a Harsh Rule deck or a deck where Backlash would be good, then we're just going to swap it back for like a different card. So if we say like Permafrost to be good or like, substitute, then we get to trade for that instead. Okay, well, as our opponent has done that, I'll attack in, give it a cheeky little scout, try and find something a bit more exciting. 6 power, no thanks. Chuck up for 4 here. Then when they play something, we get to Backlash it. Just try and hold our opponent off from being able to draw those 2 cards for sort of as long as possible here. Play Alessi down. Just hit something else that we can pretty easily protect here. Yeah, so Annihilate, no thank you. Give our Alessi +1/+1. Just sort of hold our opponent off and being able to draw those 2 cards for as long as possible. So that's Harsh Rule, which is slightly worse for us. Well, it does get to draw 2, but we're also going to get in there with the Genev. Accelerated Evo, I suppose we'll just... Not too much we can actually swap this for. Yeah, opponent's probably like the removal pile sort of deck. So I will just get a Gift of Battle actually. Because then if we draw a 5th power, we're able to accelerate Evo twice plus Gift of Battle just to get over a bunch of damage. We'll Levitate here just to try and find that power. Okay, well, now we've got Rilgon's Disciple. us attacking for free here, play Rilgon down. Then if our opponent doesn't kill this turn, we should be able to kill next turn, but also I was able to just keep doing more damage with this whilst they're trying to deal with our other stuff. Yeah, so let's kill our Rilgon, which is sort of fine. We just get 3, 4, 5, 10, so not quite enough quite yet. Actually, I was going to change my mind there, put a accelerated evolution on it. But I'm just going to draw like another copy of accelerated evolution here. Yeah, it's just like really weird technical play here. So our opponent doesn't have anything that would care about endurance, so let's just do this, fly it up. I really wanted the +1/+1 anyway. Yeah. So unfortunately we didn't get to do it. Like, to line these cards up and just be able to million to our opponent, but opponent isn't obliged to let you play it out, although as fun as it is. Okay, so this deck was actually pretty sweet, and I did enjoy reading Notorious JP's article, just to give me an idea of what's going on in the farm right now, because that also helps me as another content creator, because it helps me have an idea of what decks are actually going around, so I can look at which ones we could perhaps even budgetify for the new player series. But I will have a link out to GHP's article in the description. I would recommend you check it out, especially if like you're just trying to get into Masters and it is the new set, you're a little bit stuck on what's going on, what kind of deck you should be playing. But overall, I think the games pretty much spoke for themselves in terms of this deck. It is a very powerful deck. Yeah, I'm with people who are calling this basically Infect. Maybe something doesn't need to be done right yet, but it's worth keeping an eye on this kind of gameplay, because as you saw in like the second or third game, where we basically just had like a couple of darky dudes at like a 3-2 and I don't know, like a 3-3 in play. My opponent was at like 22 life and then just died because they tapped out for a 5-drop. Those sort of play patterns are quite questionable. But overall, the deck seems sweet. I had fun playing it, and the games were super quick. So if you want to make Masters in like 2 hours from Diamond 2 or something, it's definitely doable with this kind of deck. So thanks for watching. I've been That Resolves, and this was TJP Berserker. See you around. Brought to you through the power of the internet. I just can't keep that up, that's ridiculous.